Chapter 4. Looking for Goldfish. I left the Snoqualmie Hotel in Olympia and walked down to the water. This quiet, lonely place was right at the end of Puget Sound and a long way from the sea. Under the gray-blue sky, a few old men sat around on boxes, smoking their pipes and selling firewood. I sat down on a box next to an old man who wore an old raincoat. I filled my pipe, lit it, and looked around me. "I like this place," I said to the old man. "It's quiet and restful. I like that." He looked at me. "Someone like you must know everybody in this town and round about," I said.
"What's it worth?"
he said. I took a silver dollar out of my pocket, and the old man looked at it.
"I don't know everybody,"
he said. I put the dollar on my knee. "Know anybody that keeps a lot of goldfish?" I asked. A second old man, wearing shoes but no socks, came over and stared at the dollar. The first man turned his head and shouted,
"Know anybody that keeps goldfish? Finish it yourself,"
screamed the second man and walked away.
"His ears aren't so good,"
said the first man. He walked off to a small office, went in and slammed the door. A minute later, he opened it again.
"Mexican chickens. That's all."
I put my dollar back in my pocket and went back to the hill. I didn't have enough time to learn their language. I walked along Capitol Way, past shops and hotels. Then I turned left and crossed the bridge, and suddenly I was in a part of town where the buildings were old and dirty. A cinema with no films, an empty restaurant. A sign above my head said, "Smoke shop." I looked through the window and saw a tall, thin man with a long nose playing pool all by himself. This was Pillar's kind of place, I thought. I walked in and sat down. A bald man with hard eyes got up from a chair behind the bar. "I'll have a whiskey," I said. "Know anybody that keeps goldfish?"
"Yes,"
he said.
"No."
He passed me a glass. The whiskey was very new and tasted like something you cleaned your boots with. "This stuff is new in town, then," I said. The barman put his hands heavily on the bar and stared at me.
"What did you say?"
he asked. "I'm new in town," I said. "I'm looking for some goldfish to put in my front window." "Goldfish?" The barman said slowly.
"Do I look like a guy who knows a guy who has goldfish?"
His face was a little white. The man with the long nose stopped playing pool and walked over to the bar.
"Get me a drink,"
he said. The barman took his big fingers off the bar. He left no holes in it, I looked, and put a drink on the bar. Then he walked away. The long-nosed man picked up his drink.
"How's Pillar?"
I took an empty glass from the bar, stared down into it, and shook my head slowly and sadly.
"Still drinking too much, huh?"
"Yes," I said. "I didn't catch your name."
"Carmady Sunset. I'm always moving west. Think he'll keep quiet?"
"Sure he will," I said.
"What's your name?"
"Dodge Willis, El Paso," I said.
"Got a room somewhere?"
"Hotel." He put his glass down empty.
"Let's go."
We went up to my room and sat down and looked at each other over a glass of whiskey. Sunset studied me carefully while I drank my whiskey and waited. At last he said,
Why didn't Pillar come himself?
"For the same reason that he didn't stay when he was here."
What does that mean?
"Think it out for yourself." He nodded and seemed to find some meaning in my answer. Then he said,
How much?
25 grand.
Huh?
I lit a cigarette and watched the smoke go slowly out of the open window.
Listen,
Sunset said,
I don't know you. You could be anybody at all.
"So why did you come and talk to me?" I asked.
You had the word, didn't you?
I took a chance. I grinned at him. "Yeah, goldfish was the word, and the smoke shop was the place." His face didn't change, so I knew I was right. It was one of those pieces of luck that you dream about but never get.
Well, what happens next?
Sunset asked. I laughed. "Okay, Sunset, we could go on like this for weeks. Where is the old guy?" Sunset didn't say anything, but he put his glass down very slowly. I knew I had made a mistake. Pillar knew where the old guy was, so I should know too. Nothing in Sunset's voice showed that I had made a mistake. He said crossly,
You mean, why don't I tell you everything I know, and you say thank you? Forget it.
"Well, how do you like this?" I said. "Pillar's dead." A corner of his mouth moved. His eyes were even emptier than before.
How did that happen?
There was some competition that you two didn't know about. I smiled at him. I didn't see where the gun came from. Then the end of the gun was looking at me like a round dark eye.
You're kidding the wrong guy.
Sunset said. "I'm not kidding anybody. Pillar told the girl about it, but he didn't tell her where to find the old guy. So she and her top man went to see Pillar. They used a hot iron on his feet. It killed him." Sunset looked bored.
Keep talking. I've got a lot of room in my ears yet.
"So have I said, suddenly pretending to be angry. "What the hell have you said that means anything, except that you know Pillar? Got any more to tell me?" He played with his gun.
Old Man Sipes at Westport,
He said,
does that mean anything to you?
"Yes. Has he got the pearls?"
How should I know?
He put down the gun.
Where's this competition that you talked about?
"I hope I got away from them, but I'm not sure," I said.
And who's giving you a cut?
Sunset asked. "Pillar rented the room from a friend of mine. She's honest. I know she is. He told her, and she told me afterwards."
So, how many cuts are there?
3. You, me, and her. If we can solve the competition.
What are they like, this competition?
It's called Rush Matter. A crook lawyer down south, age 50, fat, thin mustache, dark hair, 1.75 meters, a bit soft. The girl, Carol Donovan, black hair, gray eyes, pretty, aged about 25, 1.60 meters, made of stone. She's the real hard man of the pair. Sunset put his gun away.
We can soften her.
He said,
I'm got a car at my place. Let's go over to Westport and look around. Maybe you can talk to him about goldfish. They say he's crazy about them. I'll stay out of the way. I've been in prison and he'll know it.
That's okay with me, I said. I just love goldfish. Sunset reached for the whiskey bottle. He put a little whiskey in his glass and then drank it. Then he stood up.
Don't make any mistake,
He said,
this isn't going to be easy. Maybe we'll have to take Mr. Sype for a ride to a lonely place. Maybe we'll have to take the stuff and run.
That's okay, I said. The insurance company are behind me. I put my hat on, put the whiskey in my bag, and closed the window. We were walking towards the door when somebody knocked on it. I waved at Sunset to stay behind the door. I stared at the door, then I opened it. There were 2 guns at the door, one small, one big. The girl came in first.
Okay, big guy.
She said,
See if you can touch the ceiling.